I'll check it. I don't know. Hang on a second. Hang on. We are good.
All right, it's 6:30. Call the meeting of Spencer County Area Advisory Board Commission to order. Our first item on the agenda is approval of the minutes. As we discussed, or looking at it before the meeting, there is some corrections that need to be made. As far as the attendance, in case you're aware of those corrections. Is everyone else aware of those corrections?
First paragraph.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfectly doubled up. Okay, does anybody else have any corrections or additions to the minutes as presented?
So on the last page of the minutes, it states that about midway through the second paragraph, I think it was the family lives in the county, not in the country.
Which paragraph?
It says Bill Spady at the beginning on the second
Okay.
page. Halfway through it says her and her family live in the country.
Okay.
Well, maybe they need the country.
Yeah,
We
that's
do
what she
need-
said. We love living in the country, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
Very good, I can make another mistake.
I thought it meant
Yeah.
a different country.
Yes. That's good. Well, at least you read the minutes.
I was just happy that I could
Yeah.
transcribe the word in my head.
Right. But, so is there any other additions or corrections other than the items in the attendance or the roll call? If not, do I have a motion to approve the minutes as presented?
Make that motion.
Bill makes a motion.
With the
Have a second.
changes.
I'll second.
Justin seconds. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, no? And the minutes are approved. Before we move to our next item on the agenda, which is Canasta Power Generation petitions, I would like to ask for a motion from the board to limit public comment on the discussion from the public for 3 minutes.
Make it motion.
Tyler makes a motion, I have a second.
I'll second it.
We have a second. Any other discussion? All in favor, aye? Opposed, no? Thank you. So for the folks in the attendance this evening, you'll be able to speak and express your concerns or express either in favor or in opposition of this petition to rezone. You will have 3 minutes. We do have a full house tonight, so I would ask that you respect those 3 minutes. Also, if you were at our last meeting and I would ask you to respect that those comments have been entered into the minutes and everyone on the commission was here and present at the last meeting. We heard those comments. I would ask that unless you have some pertaining new information to the rezoning, that please remain seated, because we have a full house tonight that we need to get through. So with that in order, and the folks from Canasta, I appreciate you being here this evening. I don't think there's no need for you to give your spiel here tonight. Everyone here heard it. We know what you're asking for, and we're aware of the petition. So for the sake of time, we're going to move into the public comment period. So at this time, we're going to move into business item number 2, Canasta Power Generation LLC, petitions for the rezoning of parcel number 74-11-35-300-17-017.00-017, located on County Road 400 North, approximately 580 feet east of Old State Road. petition is to rezone to I-2 for the operation of a natural gas power generation facility. So at this time, we will pick up where we left off at our last meeting with public comment. Again, please limit your comments to 3 minutes, and we will open up the floor. Please state your name, and for the record, I would like to also announce or say that Commission Member Frank Ingram has recused himself because of conflict of interest. So he is the only commission member that is not voting tonight. So at this time, I would just open up the floor for comments from the public or from residents of the county, either in favor or opposition to this rezone.
And, Mr. President, I would just add that I want everybody to keep in mind what we are here for and what we're not here for tonight, and that's to make a recommendation to the commissioners regarding the rezoning request from R1 to I2.
That is the question that will be presented later. So at this time, I'll open up the floor for comments. For anybody, please come forward to the podium. Please state your name so we can, the recording device can pick it up and also record your comments. So at this time, I just opened up the floor for public comment.
My name is Charlotte Ayer. This is going to be in my front yard. Some of you know that. First of all, I want to say that I think that we should have known a little about it before it came out in the paper. But nevertheless, I've lived there for 45 years. My grandparents have lived there long before that. We moved there because we wanted to live in the country. I woke up this morning and opened my eyes, and the first thing I saw was 3 deer in my front yard. They won't be there. I strongly oppose the change. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
My name is Michael Kokenauer. My wife Jan and I live on County Road 350. This proposed project will also be in our front yard. I spoke with you just a little bit last month, so I'll try not to repeat anything, but we do have serious concerns. Water, not sure where they're going to get their water yet, but we're on a deep well. So if they start pumping this proposed 6 million gallons a day out, we have serious concerns about water supply. Property values, of course, but also air quality. I know that the stack is proposed to be somewhere between 150 and 200 feet tall. We sit on a hill right south of that, so it's not tall enough. You can get times of inversion, foggy mornings, stuff like that. We're going to be breathing whatever's coming out of it. Understand, of course, it's a natural gas plant. It's not, the particulates aren't as bad. But air quality is obviously a concern, and noise is the main concern. Know that there has been some problems with them getting their expansion in Virginia. Their residents were opposed to it. Their planning commission voted it down. Their board of supervisors, which like our commissioners, overrode that planning commission to let it go ahead. But the concerns are the same. And those folks had experience from all the way back to 2004. So not knowing what we don't know, we're opposed until we have more information. Thank you.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to make a public comment?
My name is Donna Hutchinson, and my husband Dennis and I are opposed to the 700 megawatt natural gas power plant proposed by Tenaska. I did speak with you on April 23rd, and with greatest respect to all of you, that meeting was not recorded, and thus it was not posted on YouTube, and therefore the public comments and the proceedings of the meeting were not made public. which I believe is required by law. However, I will be brief tonight. We are aware, it's widely available on the internet and through American Electric Power's website about their active progressing with plans on properties that is already zoned I-2 that they currently own east of 231. It's named the Rockport Natural Gas Project. The power generated will replace and perhaps exceed that currently provided by the 2,600 megawatt coal-fired units, clearly in excess of the 700 proposed by Tenaska. The needed infrastructure is already in place on the AEP property. Additionally, AEP currently projects to be operational in 2029, well before the 2034 startup date recently communicated by Tenaska. It's important to note that we are not aware that AEP has requested a tax abatement from the county, and I understand that's a separate meeting, but that is, I think, an item of note. They have not asked for tax abatement. I think it's also important to note that at the April 23rd meeting, no citizens spoke up in favor of this project. I think it can be concluded that the AEP project makes unnecessary this zoning change for Tenaska's project, which will negatively impact our quiet and peaceful existence. We urge the Plan Commission not to recommend to the county commissioners the approval of the zoning change requested by Tenaska.
Thank you. Do we have anyone else that would like to make a comment? And those outside here, okay? Is there anyone outside who would like to make a comment? Yes.
Chairman, Aaron Benton, on the county council. I know y'all are in a tough spot, you know, we all ask for local control, you know, for all these things, but that puts a lot of pressure on you all. And, I understand. As a council, you know, this deal is not 100% done with AEP. We have talked to them, you know, about their plans, but I would not say those are 100% solid today. And as the financial body of the community, you know, we get tasked to do what's best for the community financially. People are constantly worried about their property taxes. When the bills come out, we get hundreds of calls. As a council, we're as a whole in favor of this project moving forward. It brings assessed evaluation. You know, there are concerns with people amongst what's the water, but that's, you know, IDEM will take care of those when that gets to them. If I would, my council and myself, or myself especially, would be in favor of the project. You know, it brings a good assessed evaluation of about $1 billion, which is a third of the more assessed evaluation we have here today. I understand y'all are in a tough spot. You know, these are our friends and neighbors, but we just got to do what's best for the county as a whole to try to keep everybody moving in the right direction, and I would support the project.
Thank you. Are there other comments at this time?
3 minutes, Phil? I got 3 minutes.
You have the
It won't
podium.
take me that long.
Please state your name, though.
David Gold, lifelong resident of Spencer County, been here for 75 years, born, raised, and worked here my whole life, breathed all the air in Spencer County, and I'm still living. So anyhow, I don't, you know, you got a tough job. I spent 7 years on this board in the early 90s, early 2000s. No project is perfect, and no project will affect no one. Every project affects someone, one way or the other. And, you know, 30 years in county government, and we don't get opportunities like this very often. Once in a generation, if not once in a lifetime, where someone is willing to spend over $1 billion, create hundreds of jobs, plus who knows what else.
20.
20 jobs.
One job.
No, 20 jobs.
I said 100 construction jobs.
Yes.
Construction jobs for 2 years.
Okay.
20
I wish it was
jobs.
up.
Can't hear you back.
I'm speaking right now.
Please don't interrupt.
And all the jobs that's created, plus who knows the spin-off businesses and jobs that we created down there. It's gonna be good for the school corporation. We can maybe get some more people in the county, more children. And, you know, our enrollment's down in school corporations. And, you know, help us all with paying property taxes, plus they're gonna be paying income taxes. And who knows this could jumpstart, anything, who knows what's gonna happen. So like Aaron, I'm 100% involved in support of this project. And we can't let this slip by, because we may not get another chance in our lifetimes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Phil, can I ask one of the council, has the tax abatement been asked for yet?
I think that would probably be out of order, Bill. We're just talking about rezoning.
Okay.
That will be there, we'll have to go to the council meeting to get that information probably. That's beyond the scope of what we're discussing tonight, I feel. We're gonna try to keep it on track here tonight. Do we have any other comments, either in favor or opposed?
My name is Krista Sykes, and like Charlotte Ayers said, this is in our front yard. And I lived in the city for growing up. I live in the country now. Love the country. Won't love it if this is in my front yard. And I just ask, the people that said they're for it, this isn't in their front yard. How would you feel if this was in your front yard and you're having to smell the stuff or the noise? We live on a quiet road. We might get some burnouts or speeders, but other than that, it's quiet. It's a quiet road. It's quiet out there. That's why we live out there. It will not be quiet anymore if we get this plant. And I understand it's going to give jobs, and stuff, but there's other ways. So, just
Thank you.
Thanks, Krista.
Is there any other comments you made?
Members of the council. Jason Thomas, I'm a representative for Boilermakers Local 374. I'm also a resident of Spencer County, lifelong, 48 years. I have been a Boilermaker for 25 years of those 48 years. That's over half my life. I'm not opposed to these fine folks' feelings, their wishes, their concerns, but I am for a project like this, especially a power plant. There is not just in this area, but in all over the country, there is a growing need for power. And people all the time complain about their power bills. They're never going down, they're always going up in the winter and in the summer. Power plants like this will help supply more power, alleviating the supply and demand problem. They are not the cleanest industry, but I've made a living and I represent folks in this area and all over the state and all over the country that make their living cleaning up, installing technology that alleviates sound coming from these plants, alleviate emissions, and trust me when I say that there is such thing as clean power. There again, I'm not up here to oppose anyone, but I just want to speak my voice to you all and the audience that this would be good for the county. It'd be good for everyone, in just not only tax revenue but also supplying power. There's been a lot of power plants shutting down all over the country, and with the building of data centers and things like that you have heard about, that I'm sure everybody knows about, we are already in the middle of an energy crisis. So the only way to get out of that crisis is try to work together and do things like these gas-fired power plants. I mean, they're not coal, so they're automatically cleaner. But that's my spiel.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other comments?
Bob Kopenar. Most of you know me. And guys, I sat on this board 20-some years ago for 14 years. At that time, Bill knows, John knows, we had a comprehensive plan in order to keep most of the heavy industrial from Rockport to Christine. There's over 5,000 acres already zoned heavy industrial. And I'm not against a power plant. My wife's worked there for 40-some years. She retired, she went back, they called her to come back in and work. It's made a good living for a lot of people in this county. AEP's been very, very good, and they're also very community oriented. We know nothing about this much. We're not against the power plant at all. I'm against where it's at. Guys, you got 5,000 acres already zoned. And AEP is going to replace the coal with gas and possibly nuclear. We all know that. So, you know, you've got another power plant that's over here and needs to be over there where the others are at. So that's, you know, that's the big thing. If we don't stick to our comprehensive plan, then what's the use of having a plan commission? We'll have every municipality, incorporated municipality, go back to what I thought 25 years ago, wanting to take their 2-mile limit. If we don't, as a county, stand up here and say we want to control the county and want to control where it's at. So if we lose that and these municipalities start that stuff, we'll have a checkerboard effect, a quilted effect of every kind of thing going on in the county if they take their 2-mile limit. And he knows, Phil knows, we've all been there on that years ago. So, you know, if we start doing this, yes, this may go, and then some municipality says, we don't like what you're doing, boom, they start theirs, and county loses. So, like I said, not opposed to the power plant, it's just in the wrong place. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Okay, hearing none, I'll turn it over to the board for discussion. Does anybody have anything that they've learned or care to bring forward from the last meeting?
The biggest thing
Site visits or, go ahead.
the biggest thing when I was going through, because I reread through the ordinances and everything, the biggest concern I had looking at it was, does it really qualify for spot zoning? That was like a lot of big pushback that you're looking at, just strictly objective looking at it, does it qualify? In my opinion, no, just because of the adjacent properties and stuff, because I know that's been brought up a few different times. I would like to hear if there's any other impact or any other, like, Mr. Kopenar was like the comprehensive plan. That was one of my other concerns of going through and making sure, like, how much leniency does this board want to do and not follow the comprehensive plan, or do we need to update it, or what type of revision should be made? I'll be curious to see, once everyone kind of looked at the ordinances, what would prevent us from moving forward with it according to the ordinances. And there was another question I had. There was two concerns that I got brought up a few times. Maybe John, you can say, maybe give some advice. Big one was sound, and the other thing was water. I think those are two justifiable concerns for the area. And looking at some of the other ordinances, like what we did for solar and stuff, like it required like a sound study and stuff like that. Would there be any potential, if we do a formal recommendation, would it be a possibility to add like potential, if we decide to move forward, have the commissioners consider doing a sound study, maybe a hydrology study to determine that it's not going to affect the wells around and stuff like that?
Yeah, that would be an issue for Tonasket to take up legitimately with the commissioners. Our recommendation tonight, if we move forward, would be, just to be clear, would be a straight recommendation on the rezoning. Now, I know that the sound and the water was addressed in their presentation last month. That would be certainly something that they could have that same conversation with the commissioners. But for our purposes, we are here strictly on the question of whether to recommend the rezoning.
So it couldn't be a recommendation of it with contingent on?
There would not be actual contingencies attached to it at this time. And I thought of that previously, Justin. One other thing I think they had discussed in their presentation was the possibility of green space surrounding the actual footprint of the facility. And if you want to address that, that's certainly fine.
I'm happy to address that. Rachel Connor, counsel for the project. We expect to, if this proceeds, to have a negotiation with the commissioners on an economic development agreement. It is common in most counties in Indiana for economic development agreements to include not just any community benefit payments that the county will receive, but also any particular conditions that are going to be imposed on the project. And additionally, permitting is another area in which the different county departments who have oversight can impose certain conditions. So our expectation is that the EDA and the permitting phase, if we get to that point, would be where any particular conditions to development would occur.
Oops. Okay, thank you. Any other comments from members of the commission? Thoughts?
I've spoke to people out in the county, some that live in that area, and everybody's worried about water and noise, obviously sight, but like Aaron and Dave talked about, the financial, there's a financial benefit to this, but I do think that, I know John said we can't make any contingencies per se, but, I would think that we could, whichever way we go, if for some reason it goes approval for the rezone, if we can make a recommendation that we would like, the studies. Like I said, that I know it goes to commissioners and they're we're just an advisory board, but I would think that would be a reasonable thing to ask for from this board. So.
I think it's very reasonable. I just want to be clear that formally there wouldn't be any conditions attached to a rezone.
Correct.
And I think Justin properly points out, I think we discussed it last month, it does not constitute spot zoning, which we have as a county in the 25 years I've been involved have been formally against.
Yeah. It's a tough spot for everybody, on both sides of the fence. So that's my 2 cents, I guess.
Phil, I got a question. It may have been discussed last month. I may have forgot it. The trees are on the south side of the property. Are they going to stay? Or are they taking them out? Could you hear what I was saying?
I could not really repeat that.
The trees that are on the south side of the property, are they going to be left standing for a buffer?
Yeah.
You meant?
Mike Carlson, Vice President General of Tonasket. It is our intent to keep the vast majority. We'll have to make a road to access, so there'll be a driveway. But part of the plan is to utilize the existing vegetation to the maximum capacity to provide an existing buffer and add new vegetation around the property to increase that buffer as it grows over time. So I do know which trees you mean along the creek there on the north side of the east-west road.
Has there been any updates since last month, like on water? I know it was we were kind of debating the river, looking at other options as well. I know that was a big concern. Has there been any more progress of which way you guys lean?
May I answer? Joe Finney-Carroll, with the Environmental Services team at Senaska. We have not concluded what water source is best and most compatible for the project. We continue to entertain all sources. We have some additional information from publicly available information. We have a little more knowledge about the effects in the alluvial from water withdrawals and tests that have taken place previously, not precisely at our location. We also have some additional information about the amount of water flowing through the Ohio River, and have reached some preliminary thoughts on adequacy of that supply. Nothing has emerged as a front-running favorite, if you will. I can tell you that the alluvium, the effects that we anecdotally have seen in other studies is that the drawdown effect around water withdrawal points would be somewhere between 1.75 miles, 2 miles, where a drawdown would be 2 feet in a very abundant alluvium. Again, that is not a conclusion for our location, but the early information about the alluvium that surrounds the Ohio River and the rate at which it's recharged from the river are appreciable. But we would entertain much greater study of the effects of our particular project, regardless of one water source or another. But we also are more familiar with the protections that are afforded other water users under Indiana state law. And state regulations protect other existing water users significantly, to the effect of some calling for state investigations within 24 hours of receiving a comment from a user that believes their water source has been affected. They have the ability to implement, according to the regulations, emergency measures, emergency curtailment measures on parties such as us or major water users such as ADP if they think there's cause. And over the long term, they're empowered with injunctive relief capabilities. None of these things are outcomes that we as project construction companies, as generators, want to encounter, nor do our principals. It's really not an acceptable outcome or risk to the project, not to mention the fact that we do want to be compatible with the surrounding users and people within the community. So not only are these logical protections of users, they're just not effects that we find acceptable for a project. So we would intend to thoroughly study and conclude that we would have no adverse effect on users around us, whether it be surface water or any other source of water.
Thank you.
Any other comments? At this time, I'd like to ask Commission for a motion. We need to move forward with this project. What are the commission's thoughts? And I know we have friends and neighbors in the audience tonight. Makes our decision difficult.
Well,
On the other hand, we're appointed to this board to do what's best for the county as well.
I'm gonna make a motion that we approve, because all we're doing is approving the rezoning. We're not giving them permission to do another thing out there, but rezone it. And like he just said, we're not just here for us and these people out here. We're here for the whole county. And when they keep talking about the jobs, I don't care if it's 20 jobs or it's 5 jobs. When you've been on the other end of the spectrum, like I do, the people I have to deal with, if you don't have a better tax base, what do you think those people are going to get? not a damn penny. And so there's 20 people someplace in this county that are probably jumping up and down hoping it comes here because they need a job. So all we're doing is rezoning it. So I think we should go ahead and rezone it and then let everybody else do their part, because that's the only thing we are being tasked with.
Jane, are you making that as a form of motion?
Yes, I am.
So Jane Lyda moves to go ahead and rezone the parcel of property in question to I-2. Do I have a second to that motion?
Just a clarification, it's a recommendation for
We
favorable
We
recommendation.
said it yes, a favorable recommendation on the rezone.
In the event that there would be a positive vote tonight, then there's a commissioners meeting coming up Tuesday. We would present an ordinance to the commissioners for their consideration.
Before we have any other discussion, I will need a second for this motion.
I'll second it with the recommendation to the commissioners that we do a water, or a hydrology and a noise study. I would like to add that in there.
Tyler, we can't
Yeah,
do that as part of the motion, but I think we have individuals in the audience tonight that understand what we're asking.
Council members are also involved.
We also have a commissioner.
And that's going to come up with the economic plan that they're going to.
So we do have a motion on the floor and we do have a second. Is there any other discussion? At this time, I'll call for a vote. All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, raise your right hand. Motion passes. Thank you very much. We'll move on to our next item of business, which is reviewing the Spencer County subdivision ordinance. And Heather, I'm going to let you kind of remind or tell us where we was at on that. I know we had some discussions on that already. And you had found some information as well. And I think, John, maybe you had worked on that too a little bit.
Yes, we
on the rezoning, or on the subdivision ordinance. So Heather, you want to kind of explain, bring us back up to speed? I know you've been working on that pretty diligently.
Thank you. So we are referring back to March 26th meeting for our advisory planning commission discussing the subdivision ordinance and a PUD. We also discussed a list of items that would be made into a checklist for future developments. So I'm going to ask, I think it left with, we were going to ask that our counsel, our legal counsel, John Witherall, present those items as were discussed.
We are working on that list, Heather, and my only question to finalize that is, do we want to proceed with an ordinance, a standalone ordinance, as far as the PUDs? I've given a couple examples from other jurisdictions.
I think
that was covered in our last meeting.
That was kind of our discussions. We were leaning to that, I think, John. I think that was our.
So I think in our previous minutes.
You have the minutes. From
Yes.
the previous minute. What did we come up with? I think we were leaning that way, to have a separate ordinance.
Yes, that was the motion.
That was the motion,
Said
I think.
Phil asked for John to work on the PUD to incorporate it into the ordinance. He also stated that Kay get the checklist in a proper form. So that was on March 26th of the request. I guess I'm asking today, which the PUD was presented to you on March 26th.
I'll make sure that we've got that ready for next month then, Heather, because we
Okay.
had several, there's quite a bit in there, and I didn't know how much to include, so I'll just kind of put something in together as far as what I have presented to you. And if you want to, I'll get that to you, to the entire board, at least a week in advance. And-
May I ask the board, are you in consensus with that? I think that was our discussion, to have a standalone ordinance.
I thought that was the plan.
That was the plan.
That was the plan.
And I think you presented in our last packet at the April meeting, your information.
And then
So
we didn't
each of
discuss
us,
it at that meeting, so that's why.
okay, so I'm assuming everyone has a copy from our April meeting. Does anybody have anything that they want to discuss from this documentation?
I've got a copy of the words in it.
Not, it's in the other one, there's something else.
Well, I don't have one.
Okay.
So so I guess what you're asking is that we review for the next meeting?
Correct, yes,
Okay.
and then I'll get you what I've got at least a week in advance, let you take a look at it then.
Well, I think you did submit this, so maybe
I
Kay,
did,
you
but I mean an
can.
actual ordinance form for us to
Okay.
recommend to the commissioners.
So Kay, do you mind to send that email out to the board with what the previous email was in regards to?
Yeah, well, if they need me, then I'll set up with this information and then we'll jump.
Would
into
everyone
this.
like another copy of this
Do we have
document, or do
one
you
from
have
the
one in your email,
last
or how
meeting?
did you receive it?
Well, Bill would have got mail,
I
everybody
received
else
it
with
with an email.
an
Yeah,
email.
mine in the mail.
Yeah.
Mine was an email.
If you need another copy, text me.
Well, just go ahead and email out what you had there, so that way everybody has a copy before our next.
Okay.
before
It's a fairly lengthy attachment
It
too.
is.
Does everyone have an email?
Pardon?
Yeah.
Does everybody have an email?
Bill
Does
gets
Kay-
his by the mail, but
Bill,
everybody
do you have
else,
an email?
he
Yeah,
doesn't.
but I very seldom look at it.
So we mail Bill this stuff.
Okay.
But I know I got it on.
So we're gonna put the grid what you presented and what John's working on together, and then you'll send it to us?
Yes.
Hopefully.
Yeah. if they're
So I wanna
two-
refer
if they're
back
two separate,
to-
then they need to all be together before we review it.
I want to refer back to the checklist that I think that has been discussed numerous
It's in
times
my
in
office.
a commissioners meeting, and it was presented on March the 26th. So is that a document that you have complete and can submit also?
I can have it, I could not find a way to get it told, whatever you told me, ChatGPT, I wasn't smart enough to figure it out. So I'll see if somebody can help me, but I've got the checklist, it's just not in the necessary form that you all wanted, but it is a checklist. And everything on
If you
it.
can get that in a form that can be emailed, do so,
I can do
otherwise,
that, yeah.
otherwise, please have copies for everyone at our next meeting of
Well,
that checklist.
I can get me, they're in my office, I just didn't bring them to the
And
meeting.
as well as whatever John
Yeah.
finalizes, maybe have some hard copies of that just in case.
Y'all will make.
In case folks either don't get their email, and I have trouble opening.
Yeah, I don't know why,
When you send
I've got to
it
send it one way to the paper,
My
one way
one
to other
computer
people.
just doesn't like
I
that
know,
document. or
I know,
that.
that format, I know.
I have to enable it.
The leader I have to do that with all the time because it won't take it one certain way.
Okay,
So until we have that information, then we'll work on that at our next meeting. We were gonna have a meeting next month, but I can't.
Well, they show this, show it to be June 25th,
So we will have a meeting. next
6:30.
month.
So I wasn't actually here for the March meeting, so I don't know how much detail was discussed, but I guess if there's any input for John for, putting
Yeah,
that ordinance together, I guess that could be something that.
We got the
you know, maybe-
information and there's a whole lot with that one from whatever county it's from, it's a lot.
well, I think from the subdivision ordinance and the PUD, it can be minimized as a document, so we are welcoming development under those circumstances.
Yeah, our document will be shorter than what, I've just given you several examples to look at, but our document will be a little bit more concise.
And actually, it really is defining in better terms what we're addressing as well. I think, when I looked through the proposed, and that was, Lord knows, a lot of water's running on bricks and seeing when you first emailed it out, I looked through it. And it is quite a good way to go as far as these subdivisions and this urban development is concerned. I like what I've seen initially, so.
I think it had a lot of good points in it for multifamily
Yeah.
dwellings, whether it's, subdivision or not, however you want to word it. I think
Well-
we all discussed it, it's two different things, whether it's on one parcel with 20 houses or
Right.
25 different lots with two dwellings apiece, it's still,
Right.
it needs to be separate like this. So
Right.
Sure. We need a whole separate document. That way it doesn't get confused, there's no crossing lines or any of that, it's spelled out very
Right.
simple. So. basically, I guess, just get it all put together, however it's gonna look finally before we approve it. Send this so we get time to look at it before a meeting.
Right. Will do.
All right. Any other comments on the subdivision ordinance? We look forward to John and Kay's information.
It's
We'll-
smarter to figure it out.
We'll tackle that at our next meeting and see if we can get something in our books on that. Any other old or new business at this time to bring before the commission?
Well, I would like to bring up old business that was discussed referring to development. I know Frank has excused himself from today's meeting, but I know that Frank's in the room. Frank, how is your project going, which has kind of initiated the discussion for these subdivision ordinance?
We've been delayed by the rain the last couple of weeks, but we got one floor poured. We're gonna pour by the end of next week, all the concrete will be poured for garages, foundations, footers, slab. So we'll start framing on June the 8th.
Okay.
So we'll have to run. It will take him about 6-7 days to frame both buildings. He has a pretty good crew. We'll have a crane set and trusses. My goal is to be early August to be done with the first two.
Thank you for that update.
You gonna be a moving if you're gonna be done by early August.
I have a critical pass set up, but they're not paying much attention.
You gotta crack the whip a little harder there, friend. Any other comments or old business or new business?
So I have some new business that I would like to ask that we schedule an executive session to discuss the administration of the ordinances and policies from our planning administration.
Okay.
I would like to make that as a motion to schedule an executive session.
Do I have a second to that motion?
I'll second.
Okay, Tyler seconds. Any other discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Okay, we will add that to the agenda then, Kate, for next meeting. Thank you.
So I would like to ask if we could do that. Do we need to make a recommendation of before or after? I don't know what the previous process is from years before, since this was my first appointment to this board.
Well, we've got a Board of Zoning Appeals meeting also for next month, so.
Probably better after.
Probably after our regular plan commission meeting.
I think most executive sessions we've had have been after, that we just asked folks to step out.
Okay.
So
So do you, as the legal counsel, prepare that executive?
I prepare the notice and send that
Okay.
to the papers.
All right.
And as long as we do that within 48 hours of the meeting, then we're in good shape.
Okay.
And make the code citation that we're operating under, so.
Okay.
I will take care of that.
all right, thank you, John. Any other business? Old or new? Not? We have a
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
We have a, she's on it. We have a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second? Jane seconds. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, no. We're out of here. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Been a long evening. We got a lot done.